Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video today, we will be ranking all of the Piggy chapters. So yeah, I will not be including chapter 12, but I will be including chapter 1 through Deserted Memory. And yeah, so first off, I must say this is just my opinion. Y'all can have different opinions and stuff, but yeah. So, ranking number 12, we have, the chapter 4. The reason I'm putting chapter 4 on number 12, which is like the lowest one, is because in chapter 4, sure, it's good for the story, but I just don't like how there's a bunch of dead ends, and since I usually have my screen dark, so I can save battery, like it's hard to see on that map for me, so like I can't really see that well, and also how there's has to be Doggy and someone else, like, and the actual player for if you're doing like player, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I just don't like this one at all, and I'm not good at it either, like I'm terrible at it, so yeah. And for number 11, we have chapter 1, which, yes, it is technically the granny house, but it's kind of like a more watered down version. It's like there's not really, it's like all bland, and there's also a lot of places that you can easily get stuck on if Piggy's chasing you. I was never really good at this one either, and also I don't like how people can camp in the restroom, and how they can just like be stuck in the elevator, so they can be stuck in the vent, so then if Piggy tries to get them in there, they can just stay there if their skin is big enough. The only good thing I like about it is how there's a Sonic reference if you look at the back of the towel in the restroom on Piggy. But yeah, that, and yeah, that's basically it. And now for the next number 10, we have chapter 9. The reason I'm putting chapter 9 super low, even though it's new, is first off, whenever you like get something and try to unlock it, it usually ends up as a dead end, which is bad for if Piggy's chasing you. And usually, since there's 2 Piggies, usually when I like open a door through the building, they're like usually behind the door waiting, and then so they'll be like super close to me all of a sudden. And I also just don't like how the people in there, like it's just I like the idea of having 2 Piggies, but then that just brings up a lot of weird, it's just kind of weird, like what if you're doing player plus bot, is there still gonna be a bot, or if you're just doing normal player, then is there also a bot? Like it just brings up like a bunch of like stuff that's like about like how the game modes work, which could be confusing. And also I don't like how like whenever you open a door, like sometimes whenever you open a door there's usually nothing in it, and how even though there's 2 Piggies, the only person you can use to attack them is Zizzy, while Pony just kind of stands there at the exit doing nothing. But yeah. And for number I think it was number 9, we have Deserted Memory, which is also known as chapter 0. It's not chapter 12, it's just chapter 0, even though it's like the 12th one in the 12th chapter. even though it's just basically an origin story of what George saw, which really we didn't really need an origin story, even though I am glad they put some amount of lore into the piggy in there, the memory. I do think that was a character that needed more lore and more of a part in the story to it. And also, there's just but besides like a more dark or extra stuff, it's pretty much kind of like the same thing as the first map, which y'all should know. I don't really like the first map, and this one's basically just adding more work to it. And number 8, we have chapter 6, which, if y'all don't know that one is chapter 6 is the hospital. And the reason why I don't like this one is because really it was kind of just extra for the story, unless if it ends up tying to the cure, but I don't think it will, since we're literally one chapter away from the end of Piggy. But yeah, basically it just takes I just don't like how there's stuff that gets in your way in the hallways whenever you're trying to run from Piggy or solve something. And also I don't like how usually when you open the stuff up, it's a dead end, which is bad for if you're being chased by Piggy. So yeah, there's not much to say about this one. And for number 7, we have chapter 3, which is the gallery. And now we're starting to head into the category which is like in between like good and bad. Those other ones were just like, I just didn't like those. So for this one, we have it's basically the story, like the plot in it, where it tells you that like you're being surrounded. When you go to the gallery, first off, wouldn't they attack you if you get out of the? They would have attacked you in the time it would take to get out of the car and go over to the the gallery. And I'm surprised they didn't attack Doggy, because like he was on the other side of the gallery, so he would have to go around through some piggies. So like it just doesn't really make sense how they ended up in the gallery. And it's kind of like a random plot out of him. That's not really like you could change that for anything else. Like you could change the gallery into anything else, like best go into this hospital or school, and it wouldn't change the story. And just like in chapter 1, this one kind of feels a little bland since it doesn't have as much color, since it's a gallery. And also the stairs will be good for Piggy if Piggy drops down and can hit you, because the stairs, like, I like how they innovated with how they make the maps, but I don't think, like, looking back, I don't think it was that good, even though I'd still enjoy playing it if that one was chosen. And next on the list we have chapter 2. And I honestly do think chapter 2 is underrated, because like people just usually don't talk about chapter 2, but really chapter 2 is like first off, it's like proof that you're a police officer, and second off, it is kind of weird how Doggy's just like someone random in there. You just still get in the car with him anyway, so he's like immediately, like right once you see him, he's like your friend, when usually like you as the player, you don't really know him yet, which I guess I honestly think that's why Doggy is less popular than, like, Bunny's more popular than Doggy, because Bunny actually introduced himself. Doggy, you just hopped in his car and he drove away. But now let's actually get into the map. So I do like how diverse it is. It's like chapter 10 where it has multiple themes. Even though it's mainly a station, there's also a sewers and even a prison, which I do really think they like, which I do really like how much stuff was in that chapter, even though it's not the easiest for me. And for number 5, we have chapter 5, which is the school. So, yeah. I do like this chapter because it's simple. Like, you can easily, like, avoid or run away from, Piggy, because there's really no dead ends. The problem with it is that whenever I play it, which this probably could be changed if I just look up a YouTube video about it, but I never seem to find any items or anything, even if like the game starts and I'm already in the game. And for number 6, we have chapter 10, which is the mall. One thing I enjoy about the mall is how there's multiple themes, just like chapter 2, where it's like there's the main mall part, but then there's also a bank, and you can go upstairs to where there's an arcade and clothing place. Even though there's more themes than there are in chapter 2, they're like less big. They're more like the size of one room now, which also I do like how this chapter, like the piggy in this chapter is so like one of my favorites, and also how in this chapter they have an upstairs, which some of the chapters don't. But the problem is because it's basically a circle, but upstairs is like half a circle, and I do like it. So they're keeping it like simple but complex at the same time. But also in this chapter, whenever I play it or end up playing it, I usually whenever I unlock stuff, it ends up being a room that doesn't really have anything else in it. So it's kind of like, why did I unlock this room if all there is in here is another thing to unlock? There's nothing to grab or anything. So it's more like you have to look around instead of just unlocking it and grabbing something and doing it again. And number 3, we have the Outpost, which is chapter 11. And chapter 11, if y'all don't know, is it's the newest chapter besides the disordered memory. Well, it's the newest in the timeline, and it's like the second newest because of the disordered memory and stuff. But yeah, this one I honestly just like the feel to it, to where it's not bland, but it's not too colorful anyway, and I just don't like how I usually can't find anything, but that could probably be fixed if I just watch a YouTube video again. But yeah, whenever I play it, I like it because it's kind of like a prison, but it's like a military base as well. So it's kind of like a mixture of all things without having a bunch of themes. It's just a mixture of them instead of just having multiple. I do like the Easter egg about the ghost bunny, and the ghost bunny on top of the tower, and I also like I don't really like how this one just brought up this chapter just brought up more questions instead of answering them. So that means there will be tons of questions to answer on chapter 12, unless if they don't answer them all. And for number 2, we have chapter 7, which is the chapter that I started, the newest chapter, it was the newest chapter that came out when I started playing Piggy and just stopped instead of just watching it on YouTube. And so yeah, on this chapter, I also like how it brought the infection thing, like how the main Piggy for infection is a zombie Piggy, and that's also the main one for chapter 7. And I also I just like how Piggy is, so I like that choice since it's a metro. I just am confused how they went to the metro from how they went from the hospital to the metro, which isn't really that questionable since I bet I just don't know something about life or something about where stuff is located. So yeah, this one I really like. I like how it's still easy. I like how it's still easy, but it's also kind of like a maze, so it's not too easy. But yeah, so the next up is for number 1 we have chapter 8, the Carnival, which I like this one because it's colorful, and also how it's simple. It's basically just a more complex circle, and but then you can also unlock a way to go through the middle, so Piggy doesn't go chase you around the map. I also do like how it's easy, but it's not super easy to where you automatically win. I played this map so much to where I know where all the keys go and stuff. But yeah, I think I might want to try to speedrun chapter 8, which I know I'm probably going to be bad at doing, but still. I also like how chapter 8 isn't just something random from the gallery or something, even though it doesn't affect the story what chapter 8 would be. I like how even since it was in that time, they actually used something from the Piggy show. If y'all don't know, Mr. P's Carnival is where Mr. P is actually in the show. He actually has his own carnival. And I also like how you have to get through Foxy to get the white key, even though Foxy only attacks you if you get super near him. So I just kind of think that's a cool place to keep him. And I also like how this is the chapter that started bringing the notes about TSP and stuff, and how there's also a flipped car at the very beginning of the chapter in the cutscene. There's randomly a car that's sideways. So yeah, I really like chapter 8, and also you meet your new friends after Bunny, where you meet Zizzy and Pony, since you're looking to get Mr. P for revenge of what he did to Bunny. So yeah, thank y'all for watching my tier list about ranking all of the Piggy chapters. I'm excited for what chapter 12 has to offer. I honestly do think it's going to be a boss battle, even though I honestly feel like it'll leave open for a Piggy chapter 2 with the TSP being the main villain or something. Even though I'm a Piggy 2, not a Piggy chapter 2. Obviously that would be that already happened. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, or else a Karen will bite your toenails off in your sleep.